This is WFO Radio.
WF everybody, Joe Castello here with you, live streaming for the very first time from the WFO Radio studios in a way that we deem to be fun and exciting, and we got it going on, and we even have a very special guest. That's right. So what we would ask you to do is share. Click share. You know, I know you're thinking to yourself, my friends are busy. They're all at work. They've got other things to do. And it's unfortunate that in this particular example, you're probably wrong about that. They have got some time. And so we're going to have a fun show. We're going to delve into many of the different issues involving NHRA drag racing. We're going to talk a little bit about sportsman racing. We're going to talk about how to stay sane in the house when you are self-isolating. And we're going to talk about the sport we love, NHRA drag racing in general, cars in general, and whatever comes up, because we're going to have interactive feedback. That is supposedly the case. Everybody wants to talk. They want to feedback. They want to go back and forth. And that's what I'm ready to do. But right now, though, we're going to bring on our guest, because the guest should never have to wait that long. So we're going to bring him on. We'll give him a little bit of warning. Here it comes. He is a three-time Mellow Yellow Top Fuel World Champion, Antron Brown. AB, we got you out there, bud. How you doing? Oh, I don't hear AB. Why don't I hear AB? What's up with that? Oh, man, I don't hear you. Antron, I don't hear you. Oh, no. Maybe the audience hears Antron out there. I don't hear Antron out there. AB, microphone check. Microphone check. Unmute mic. Let's see. Mute mic. Unmute mic. Oh, bummer. The only thing we couldn't test. Can't hear you. Check your mic. Microphone check. 1, 2. What is this? The 5-foot assassin with the roughneck business. Float like gravity. Never had a cavity. Got more rhymes than the Warners got family. And you can't even respond. I'm doing Tribe. You love Tribe. You got to fix it. You got to fix it. Is it me? I don't know if it's me or not. But I see Ricky is out there, and Sean is out there, and Josh is out there. Try to reconnect. Let's remove AB from the stream and try to reconnect. But you got to see me go live a little bit, like flexing the skills for a second. Now, Antron, let's try to bring him back. Yeah, I got no audio from Antron Brown. Got no audio. You got your mic muted somewhere? I think that's what it is. Okay, how about this, AB? We're just gonna like, I'll do your voice. Yeah, Joe, I'm the greatest. Okay, now I see you're drinking Dasani water, Coca-Cola products in effect. I see that. Oh man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go like full on. I'm gonna go full on emergency mode here, and while he's working, we'll see what we can do. But there's certain things you can't test, and this is live. This is live stream, and so what we're doing. Yeah, okay, so now you're live. You're on the air live through my microphone. We can't hear you, Antron. What's up? Have you checked your mics?
Yeah, my mic is unmuted. I see it right there. And it says your mic is muted. Unmuted.
Yeah, I don't.
Let me try to leave. I'm going to reconnect with you. Hold on.
Do it. There it is. Oh, man, we started off with such flair, and then we crash and burn. Like it's like one of those 60-foot runs that's going, and it's like, is it going to make it? And the answer is no. It's not going to make it. You got him, yeah, because I called him on my cell phone. And that's fine. But whatever, we're going to sort it all out. All right. He's going to try to pop back in. Well, and I got you on my cell phone. I'll just have to work this thing as best as I can for a few minutes, and then we'll just reconvene with the AB. Who, Don Schumacher Racing, closing in on 350 wins. Don Schumacher Racing coming up with some really great stuff, getting involved in the whole COVID-19 battle with their Don Schumacher manufacturing brand. That's all great. Was planning on talking to AB about all of that, and talking about, getting back going again with this amazing team. And we'll do it. If we have to stop and start again, we don't even need a reason. I think the expectations are low. That's why you set expectations low and then over deliver. That's a motto of mine. It is. Hey, while I got this couple of minutes, Alan Reinhart in the WFO Radio podcast archive talked about the updated schedule for Factory Stock Showdown, E3 Spark Plugs Pro Modified, Mickey Thompson Top Fuel Harley, and Mountain Motor Pro Stock. And also, we delved into what it takes to run Stock Eliminator, which that was an interesting conversation because a lot of people have been saying to me, man, Joe, I'd love to run Stock Eliminator. How do I do it? I'm going to get a K&N air filter and I'm going to go out there and maybe get some Mickey Thompson slicks. And I think, I could run Stock Eliminator, but it's harder than that. It's much harder than that. Also, want to remind everyone that we do have some great sponsors who support the show. These are people who have been integral into getting us to where we are. And this is them. Total Seal Piston Rings, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Hey, how's it going, AB? Oh, man, this guy is learning how to be a computer programmer. He's getting a side job as a Microsoft tech. He's doing a course, a crash course on the audio. And you know what the sad thing is? Like, I guess it could be me. I did a test the other day, though, with Johnny Placino, and all he did was turn it on, which was great, incidentally. You're wondering where you can listen to our fantastic podcast? Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all of these great places to listen to WFO. And the podcast is our number one thing, incidentally. All right. He has yet to reconnect, but I hear him in the background. He's working on it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of keep going and take a little sip of coffee. Welcome to the WFO studio, by the way. Got my Marvin Rodak mug. And microphone is working, it says. All right, try. There he is. He's doing good. I love that Antron talks to himself because I talk to myself when I'm trying to sort out an issue. I'm just like working. It's like, okay, A is working. B is working. C is working. He's a drag racer, man. He's going to figure it out. And even not. Jim Morris is out there. Justin is out there. Josh Snyder is out there. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there? And we're going to do some crowd interaction at some point. What do you think of the iRacing coverage? Thank you, Justin. It's good and it's bad. It's good because there's something to watch. It's bad because it's not real racing. It's good because it's NASCAR and it's interesting. It's bad because it's not drag racing. All right, checking in with AB. AB, you're back on the air. I hear you. How's it going? Ooh, I see you trying to connect.
Can you see me?
I don't see your face yet. I just see that you've made a connection.
Okay. Let's see here.
Oh, Jerry Health. Neil from down in Australia. We got Australians listening. Now it's a party. Gareth, of course, was trying to put his world-class Pinto Super Street car from Brainerd, Minnesota in the World of Wheels, and it got canceled. Yeah, I don't even see you, whereas before I saw you, and now I don't even see you.
Let's see if this works.
Oh, all right. I got audio now, just no video. We got your audio. We just got no video. Yeah, no. So you're on the right track. See, this is really the plan the whole time. Welcome to the latest episode of WFO Problem Solvers Under Duress. Let's see how well a three-time Top Fuel world champion can solve a computer problem live on the air. And we've got the timer on Antron. It's been 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And we'll see how long it takes him to figure it out. AB, you did good in that you got the audio to work, but now the video went away. So keep fighting it, man. Keep fighting it. You're doing great. This guy's doing great.
I'm getting there.
You are. You're getting there.
Mike's there.
Now you've disconnected again. So I would try to reconnect again from scratch on that email link I hit you with, and we'll see how it goes.
I did. That's what I'm working on right now. I got the mic to work on my computer. Default microphone.
Oh man, this guy's
Interview guest. This will host can add the broadcast anytime.
Yeah. Oh, look, our listeners are chiming in. I think he needs to turn down the volume on his radio and roll up his windows. That's right. Man, Bobby Graham, I spent a lot of time as a call screener on AM radio. That was my first gig, everybody's first gig. Run the board and screen the calls. And it's like, hello, I want to talk to the guys. What do you want to talk about? Where are you calling from? What's your name? Roll up your windows, turn off your radio. And, the first time caller, I'm not into that. But it was tough, man, being the call screener, because if you let somebody get through, they were always trying to crank to get through, that kind of stuff. And it turned out good. Hey, Lowe is out there. Bobby Graham's out there. Danny Waters out there. Oh, Antron, we got just like a tremendous audience for you. And what we're doing is we're building the drama here. So you just keep working it, bud. You're doing a great job. I believe in positive feedback, as you can see. I'm a big positive feedback kind of guy. Speaking of which, all you folks out there, but you did have it working moments ago. So that means it's possible. Oh, see, he comes on. He's doing the iPad thing. All right. Well, I have faith in you, Antron. I think you're one of the most capable individuals that I have met. And if you don't mind fighting it out for us here, I don't mind killing a little time with our WFO radio audience. They are great people. And they have been so wonderful to me over the years. 10 years into this podcast experience, and I think like most of Antron's victories have been chronicled in the WFO radio archive. That's one of the things I'm very proud of, is that the archive is just loaded with big moments, whether it's, Antron or Forces 150. Like, how did he feel? What did he do? Oh, look at that. Courtney Ender's out there. Oh, now I'm nervous. Oh, the nerves, they come in there. Justin, do you still have those hilarious sound bites from the Biff and Rusty and Mark Martin from back in the XM satellite radio days? The answer is yes, I do. And, like bringing them back. Should we bring them back? The XM days, that was the golden era of life, right? Get paid a tremendous amount of money to do very little. Those were the days. And then go to the beach in the morning from like 9 to noon, and then enjoy, and then, get home and get in there by 7 o'clock. And Tommy Noodles will be waiting. We'd bust out an amazing award-winning program from 8 to 10 for like literally hundreds of thousands of adoring fans. Click off at 10:05. And then, hit the South Florida nightclub scene. Wow. Those were the days. Now, great. Still great. Without the paycheck. Oh, no. Antron, that sounded like disgust. What happened? AB sound.
I got to turn off something on my computer about privacy. Camera, microphone, privacy, try directly.
If it asks you to update, don't do it. Don't do it. If it asks you to update. Don't update. That'll kill us for the next hour. We'll have to wait till tomorrow to get Antron back on.
Oh, I'm coming. I'm gonna let's see here. Let me
keep fighting it.
Let me see if I can. You know what? Let me see if I can do it.
I love this.
Let's see if I can do it from my phone. I need to learn how to do it on my thing here.
I would love for you to be able to do it from your phone. And I have done some research, and it's ask him to have one of his kids do it. No, Antron is a very capable person. But that is always good advice. I got to say, we had one of those just the other day. The kid came in, saved the day for us. So, but it's supposed to work from your phone too, the software we're using. But, who knows about what's the reality? All right, you keep fighting it.
Microphone check. That microphone's working.
Did you hear me doing Tribe Called Quest, though? Could you hear that audio?
Yes, I could.
That was pretty good, right? Like, I was under the gun right there, and I could kick it. Yes, I could. All right, you keep working.
I'm in the studio.
Oh, look, wait, stand by. Look at this. Victory.
You got me now?
Yes. I'm hanging. Yes, you're on. Now you're live. You're live, and all the audience out there. Can you guys? He's live, not Memorex.
I got it.
All you kids don't know what Memorex is. Yes. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Antron Brown, 3-time Top Fuel World Champion and computer Microsoft professional.
Hey, I tell you what, I have my laptop. I can get it on there, but you couldn't see me. And I got to figure out how to turn off the camera privacy settings. Then first we tried to do it on the iPad. The iPad, you can see me, but then you couldn't see my microphone.
Right.
So I don't know. I just did it on my iPhone and it all worked like perfect, like gangbusters. So obviously the app has got something going on with my iPad. My iPad's not letting it work. So, but it's all gravy.
AB, you look skinny, man. You look skinny.
I'm ready to go, baby. I've been working. I've been doing what I need to do. I'm fighting weight right now, man. I'm down to about 150 pounds, 152 pounds. Like, I've been the same. I'm normally about like 158 pounds and stuff like that, but I'm lean and mean right now, brother. I'm lean and mean, fighting machine.
I love
like
it.
Joe Frazier.
Yeah, no, yeah, Smoking Joe. Hey, I watched that Ali documentary on the plane last time I was on a plane. Great stuff. And Joe got a raw deal a little bit, but hey, that's boxing. But, let's get into this, Anton. In that, how are you holding up? You're lean and mean, but everything that I would imagine you like to do is kind of unavailable right now. So, how are you and the kids and the fam? Like, what are you doing to entertain yourself?
Man, I tell you what is that right now, honestly, is that we've been a support system for a lot of our sponsors, especially for our Matco distributors that's out there right now. And I've just been on the phone talking to them, their customers, and just keeping them upbeat. Like, they're out there on the streets still doing what they need to do, and they're just being there out there giving them support, giving them that customer service. You know what I mean? And that's the hard thing, is trying to get everybody through this time. And it's just been rough because we should have been like 4 races deep already. You get what I mean? It's like,
getting ready for good stuff.
And everybody, and like the weather's starting to change, everything's starting to go, and it's just been a rough deal. But the only thing about it is you got to take all the pros out of it. And the pros that I can tell you right now is that a lot of people spend a lot of good time at home with their families. You know what I mean? And for me to connect with my kids and see my kids each and every day and just be around them all this time, and they can't go nowhere. My daughter, she can't go drive her car. Like, my son Anson, he's over his friend's house. My son Adler, we're coming down and we're getting that Brady Bunch family time. You get what I mean? Like, where everybody's around the table and we're communicating. I'm still working with the kids out in the shop on the junior dragsters, getting their programs together this year with all the new safety rules with head padding and stuff like that. And we've just been like getting that family time in, man, and trying to do stuff together. And my wife's been downstairs sewing up face masks and stuff like that in the sewing room, in her craft room. And she's been drop shipping them and dropping them off at people's houses and in their mailbox for different people that are working in the hospitals or friends, community, family members. And she's been nonstop at that, using scrap material she has left over. So we've been nonstop doing a whole bunch of variety of things, you know what I mean? And just trying to pass that time and get through it. But yet I'm just staying ready, brother, because when we hit that go time, AB is going to be ready to go, brother.
Light him up.
Yes.
Let's burn some nitro. Hey, I love what you're saying, though. And this is the thought I was having the other day. And I always get accused of being maybe a little too overly positive. And this is a very tough situation to be positive about, right? But we are going to look back at this 10 years, 50 years from now, assuming, we all make it that far. Like, this is like we are pushed apart, but pulled together. As you mentioned, it's time with your family, the distractions. We're all talking about distractions, right? There's too much distraction in our lives, and maybe that's not good. Well, guess what? No distractions. Family time, personal time, a chance to connect, a chance to realize what's genuinely important and sort out all the nonsense. And I think that's what we're doing now. And so that's great that you guys are doing that. Yesterday, the masks. I wore a mask to the grocery store for the first time in my life. I just wanted to try it. And it was uncomfortable, but probably something in our future. But let's talk about the racing. Let's get on it. And I want to mention to our listeners that you can submit a question for me or Antron via Facebook chat, YouTube chat, and I can put it up on the screen like this one. Let's see. And there's Justin. And, he says, bless. And Courtney Enders is out there. Yay, way to go, AB. Courtney, supporting. And so we'll see. And I can put your question up on the screen just like that. Isn't it? Right. And that's why you and I have done different experimental online stuff for years. You've always been very willing. So this is like the next phase of something I'm trying to do. You're the first person I thought of. Now, we haven't really spoken too much this year. I haven't even seen you at the track. You got the new, the boys are back. The team is back. But now all of a sudden, Antron, no countdown, different schedule. The game has changed a little bit. Have you guys been strategizing about how that's going to be different? The final 6 races, gearing up for the final 6. That's not the thing anymore. Now you want to get as many points along the way as possible. Maybe strike where your competition is weak. How have you analyzed that?
Well, now you're going to see the cool part is you're going to see this is a positive and a negative situation. You get what I mean? Well, now you're going to see all the people that were planning not to make this race or not to go to that race, where you're going to see the whole community come together and that every race means something. So now you're going to have a marathon. This is the crazy part. And we're going to start off in the hottest time of the year. Get what I mean? Like,
Yes.
We're going to be in Gainesville, brother, in May. In May.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hot when we go there in March. You know what I mean? So it's usually perfect weather. And then we're going to see some of these tracks at the hotter times of year, like Topeka. You know, you're talking Topeka in August or something like that. So you've got all these different things that are happening. It's going to be very unique and crucial because we're going to go to different places at different times that we normally don't go there. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to really draw the fans in because now they're already been tuned in, but they're going to want to see how the saga plays out from race to race. And then we've got a couple races where you only got 2 qualifiers to make the show.
Right. That's brutal.
You know, we've got 2-day races. You got 2 qualifiers. So your first run, you better get down. Second run, you better get down too and not try to light the world on fire because you want to see what that lane can hold because you don't know what lane you're going to have the next day when you race on race day. You get what I mean? So it's going to be one of those toss-ups, man. It's going to be a juggle. It's going to be very interesting. And we're racing a 4-wide race in Charlotte before the end of the year. You get what I mean? Which goes towards the championship.
Yeah.
So it's different, man. It's going to be different. And now that we only had 2 races out, now some of the cars that set out the first races, they got to get in, but they're starting back with a 2-race deficit. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So it's whew. I tell you what, it's also going to bring some hardships out there because you got to go out there and say, okay, well, the race season is going to start, but then you got to say, we got to go testing again. You get what I mean? Because these teams have sat dormant. The crew guys have sat dormant for over the last 2 months. So we've got to come out and go, all right, well, what are we going to do? Like, all right, well, how are we going to approach this? And now we got to go from cool weather setup where you could drop mid 60s to saying, all right, we got to go run high 70s, low 80s, or mid 70s because that's what the track's going to yield in the middle of the summertime. So it's got a lot of stuff up for discussion. The mindset's going to change. And, you know, I've been sitting here now practicing on my practice tree. You know what I mean? I've been trying to practice on button racing, man. I did that little deal like the pros races Joe's, and I got my butt.
Don't reveal
I got my butt spanked on that, Joe.
Oh,
first round.
I knew it. I knew you would get destroyed. Who beat you?
No, I didn't get destroyed. I just messed my own self up. I actually raced Luke Bogacki in the first round, and he was good. He was solid, man. And I saw him cut like a 18 or 14 light. I'm like, oh. I've been practicing trying to be like perfect, you know what I mean? And I go up there, I go, AB, don't red light. I'm telling that self in my mind, and you never tell yourself that. So the first button I hit, I messed up and I cut a 50 light, man. I'm like, oh my God. And then next light I try to make up for it, and I red lighted with like a triple, like a 005. Then I red lighted again with a 003, and they count as 25. So I'm out the game. I am out the game, messed up, floored. And you know what? And the bad part is I should have stuck to my guns because I practice on going as quick as I can.
Right.
When I use a button, you got to know how to adjust the tree for the button and get that right. You get what I mean? Where you let go, but you can hold the button so many different ways, and you do this different. This is different. That's different. I mean, I just give those guys credit because Peter Biondo was just a machine.
Don't tell us one. Do not reveal one.
Well, I can't tell you who won.
Don't.
I'm just telling you who was good.
Yeah.
You get what
Well,
I'm saying?
Peter Biondo is
And,
one of
and
the greatest of all time, the Terminator.
well, the thing
Genuinely.
about it is the man can give it whatever he wants, and it was like some other young guns on there, man. I mean, those kids that are racing that won some of those big bracket racings, you know what I mean? Like the Spring Fling, I mean, they were incredible. Incredible. I mean, like these cats were doing it, but I could do what I should have did is brought my pro side bike handlebars out because I can hit the tree with my pro side bike handlebars and I can hit a double O all day long, like bow, 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 and letting the clutch lever out because that's my muscle memory. And hitting the foot pedal. I practiced with a top fuel pedal, and I was like, you know what? I should have went to my strength and did something that I do all the time. And I tried to button race and got my tail spanked. But you know what? We're gonna do it again. And trust me, AB does not like losing, and I'm coming back with vengeance.
I like that. So for everybody out there, Kyle Seipel was on WFO last week, and there was a whole thing. We were going to have him on, then Bobby Bennett came on. Bobby Bennett obviously got COVID-19. It became a very serious interview, and so we pushed the Kyle interview back. But this pros versus Joes practice tree race that Antron is talking about, the Joes are not Joes. The Joes are Lucas Oil Series, sportsman, or big money bracket racing, best of the best of the best. They are just probably not known to most Mellow Yellow Series fans. And as soon as he put it together, and there was like 20 championships represented on the NHRA Mellow Yellow side, because Caps, there was a bunch of big time champions over there, Erica. And I said that y'all was going to get destroyed. Now, I don't know what the result is. Everyone should go listen to the podcast. It's in the archive. But judging by what you just told us, Antron, those guys lift off a button all the time. They're
yes,
button racers. It makes a big difference.
Yes, and I can tell you, was like Scotty Richardson was there. There were some big hitters. Gary Williams.
I know Gary from when we were children. I bracket raced against Gary when we were teenagers. They would come over from Brady. He's won the $1 million race twice. Jeff Brody, he won $2 million races in the same year.
Like he was on point too, and the young guns like Corey and Jeff Verdi and John. I mean, these cats were on, and you know what? Like our pros got through there through some rounds and gave it at them, man. But think about it is that once you do it once, you know what game time, you know what you got to do. So I took my whooping, I learned from it, and I will be back. Trust me, is because my kids are going to get into that type of racing, into the sportsman ranks, which is very, very tough. It's very brutal. I see it on a junior dragster deal, and basically it's about being consistent. It's about being consistent and being on time and doing the same thing over and over and over again. And hey, I give those guys credit, man, but it ain't over yet, brother. We're coming back again. We're coming back.
Well, what's funny is it was done for charity, and there was a GoFundMe account. And Josh Snyder says that Luke Gacki said he was nervous in his live feed. And Courtney says that it was big nerves, and I can imagine it would be big nerves. There's nothing to distract you, no sound of the engine, no, just you and a button going out there.
Well, it's different, and what I should have did, and I learned something from Peter when he was doing it, and I do the same thing with a foot pedal every time. And the man does everything with his hand motion when he has a hand button and everything every time. And I tell you what I did was I had my iPad looking at me where I should have had my daughter or somebody video, showing them what I was doing. Because I had it right in my face and I had my tree set up on the back side of it. And I could see everybody out of the corner of my eye just looking at me, because we had a screen with this deal that everybody was on Zoom, where it was like everybody looking at you, like Jake, Sean, Erica, Alex, everything. And it's like, I have never felt so nervous. Like when you sit in your cockpit of your race car, you got your helmet on and everything is silent. You got everybody blocked out. Where Peter, he was the smartest one doing it. And I looked at him and I was like, he had his wife filming him, from the phone. And he was away from it, just in his zone, like he was in a race car. And I'm like, I'm on that, because that's how you block it all out. And you're sitting there like you're just practicing by yourself. And when you do that, the nerves are gone. And when you're in that race car, the nerves are gone. But you learn these valuable lessons over and over and over again, because I've learned it, because I remember doing that before, where I block everything out when I get in the car. Like Erica, like Langdon, JR, Bo, all of us, when we get in our car, when we put our helmets on, and Jackie, we're able to get in our zone. You get what I mean? And that's what you got to remember. You got to get back in that zone. And I think next time what we need to do is everybody's going to put in money.
Yeah.
And then all the money goes to the charity that the driver that wins picks. You get what I mean?
Gambling.
And I think that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We got to do it again and get more drivers involved. Maybe get like a 32-car field or a 64-car field and get after it.
Well, one or the other. First of all, pros versus Joes. I qualify for one of those because I am a Joe. But not unlike Battle of the Network Stars, there could be a media team, like the media schleppers, Kevin McKenna, myself, a couple of others, and we could hold it down for the media group. And, maybe we win it for charity points or something. But practice shoe racing, as you know, is a big thing that happens during the off season or during rain delays at big money bracket races. People don't realize you go trailer to trailer. There is a lot of informal gambling going on. So this is you guys were kind of, I don't want to say they had an unfair advantage, but they definitely been down this road before. Next time. All right. Question from Mark wants to know, and I don't know if you can see it. Are your kids going to run big cars after junior drag? You just kind of answered, but what direction are you going to send them? There's so many.
Absolutely. I think my son, Anson, my daughter, she's going to dance school. My son, Anson, he wants to race, but whether it goes to some kind of trade school or college, whatever he chooses, he will do that, and we'll race in the summertime together. We have time to race, or even on the spring breaks and fall breaks. And we're going to definitely go big car racing to some sort. And it's going to be up to him what he wants to race. I mean, I think we're going to definitely start off in super comp and racing, and racing and bracket racing, plain and simple. So definitely want to get out there and start racing with some of those, like my uncle and my dad. They're all bracket racers. I've never got a chance to I never bracket raced at all. I went straight to pro racing, pro cycle, motorcycle. Right when I was about to start bracket racing, I went with my dad and uncle for years, they still do it. And I got to be there, but I never got to race bracket racing. And then I went straight to pro stock motorcycle. I used to race motocross and went from motocross to pro stock motorcycle, and always loved drag racing. And I get to bracket race with my kids' junior drag show racing right now, which we race all classes, which we race the index class, which is kind of like super comp. And then we do dial in, where you could dial whatever you want to, bracket racing for junior dragsters. So we do that, but we don't do it with the buttons and delay boxes and all that jazz. You know what I mean? That's something that I definitely want to get into. It intrigues me, and I love it, man. I just love any form of racing. But I just hate losing. That's the bad part.
Well,
that's the bad part. Nobody likes losing, But we do something about it. Trust me. We research. We come back stronger.
I like it. Well, the big money bracket racing, they call it big money bracket racing for a reason. There's a lot of money out there. Like you mentioned, a couple of those dudes you raced against have both won $1 million races, and maybe they didn't take home $1 million check, but definitely 6 figures worth of check, which is nice. You've done that a couple of times in your career, and the camaraderie and the fun, but it's tough in the end. It's like flip the quarters. That's what I started out doing, bracket racing, won a couple of track championships and all. But you get near just like with anything else, right? You think you can hit a golf ball, and then you get near the pros, and you're like, I can't hit a golf ball. Like these guys, there's a sound coming off the ball, and you realize that you're just inferior human. But here's a question from Justin. He wants to know, what inspired you to try for NHRA, and would you consider trying NASCAR or IndyCar? So, jumping in any other kind of cars, but talk a little bit about that.
Hey, what inspired me with NHRA drag racing is that I just grew up around it, and plain and simple. And the sport, once you go to it one time or two times, it just sucks you in. And I think the way it sucks you in is because all the access it has, plain and period. Where when I was working on the cars with my dad and uncle, like I used to do that tire pressure. That the coolest part for me was just to sit in the car while we winched it back up in the trailer, because I was the only one that can get out and get between the car and the trailer and walk out, because I was so tiny and small. So so that was like the deal. I remember I was like, oh, we got to take the car out. That's my job. Let me jump in, get it out. And then it was like, oh, we got to put it up. Where's Antoine at? Jump in, reel it back in. And that was the fun part for me. And IndyCar, NASCAR, I mean, I love them too, man. I love every form of racing. I've done road racing. I've done some dirt track stuff. I mean, I love, like, I've done IndyCar. I mean, I've done NASCAR. The only thing I haven't done yet is IndyCar. I would love to test the IndyCar and go out there, you know what I mean, and just go have some fun. You know what I mean? That'll be the cool part, is not to get driven around, but to actually drive one. You know what I mean? Will be to catch me out for me, man. That's definitely on my bucket list of things that I truly want to do. And that in the F1 car, oh my Lord, that'll be like,
me
I'm
too.
like, I'll be done. I'll do that. You might see AB retire.
Now, do you remember you got mad at me one time, though? You got angry at me because I compared you to that guy over in the Middle East who drove the Formula One car one time and crashed it in the first 50 feet. And I remember you were like, Arab Sheik, Joe, like, I'm Anton Brown, come on. But it's like,
I wouldn't. No.
You remember
the thing
that?
about it is,
You were
a lot
mad.
of people don't realize what I do. I have driven multiple things. It's probably nothing I can't drive. I grew up driving dump trucks and skid steers and backhoes and track hoes. I mean, that's what my family did. I mean, since I was like 12, 13 years old, like bulldozers. I mean, I have my CDL license. I was driving air brakes and trucks and RVs before I,
Don't say that in drag racing. Next thing you know, Don will have you driving the tractor.
Oh, I do. I got my Class A CDL still, brother. I got all of it. If I had my wild's holding my iPad up, but I got it's pretty. I have driven a lot of things, and I grew up racing in the dirt. And I'm telling you this: if you ever noticed, like, people that came from motocross, they pretty much have won championships in every other form of motorsports, like Jerry McGrath, Bryant Deegan, Rick Johnson, Jeff Ward, who drove IndyCar. Jimmy Johnson, who won multiple NASCAR championships, was a motocross racer. I mean, if you look at it, the realm of motocross people that have gone off and doing great things is incredible. You know what I mean? So that's where I come from. And I think just riding motocross and riding motorcycles in general teaches you a format on how just the technique part of the style of driving things. You know what I mean? You learn technique. It's about technique. It's not about going out there and going balls to the wall. You have to actually come in there and you gradually grow and get better because you learn the technical side of it before you get really fast. And I think that's one thing that's really helped me out in all my forms of motorsports is I'm very focused on the technique side of things. And then I gradually pursue and get better and better and better. And I'm a quick study. I observe other people really fast. I learn from other people.
The whole iRacing thing has become a big deal right now because we can't go race for real. And honestly, I had Sean Langdon on. Sean's in the archive, guys. You can go to the WFO Radio podcast archive, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and listen. And he's a big proponent, as is Ron Capps, your teammate over there at DSR. I've spent many hours on driving sims, and I love them. But at the same time, I feel like wanting for the reality, what you just described, the feeling of going into a corner and overdriving it or underdriving it. It's addictive. Let's face it, that experience. And so I don't know. I'm always a little bit when it comes to the video stuff. But then again, if it's all there is, what do you think about that? Like using those sims and the iRacing and the idea that drag racing should have a game. And is it possible? Is it possible for there to be a game where the feeling you're feeling is just pure, insane acceleration?
It's hard. It's just like anything else. It's like anything else. It's like watching on TV. TV doesn't do any sports justice, but TV videos can give you a different insight. You get what I mean? Like a Sean Langdon can race with Graham Rahal or Scott Dixon. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Ron Capps can race with a Jimmy Johnson or anywhere else. You get what I mean? Like you can race. And you know what the coolest part it is now is that with the iRace stuff, you can be a fan and race against a pro driver.
Right.
You get what I mean? So it has its pluses. The only minus is that you can't see or touch the real thing.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And for this time right now, it's just a way to stay interactive and for people to watch their favorite people just run and race. You get what I mean? And like Toyota just sent all of his drivers out so we connect on Gran Turismo with the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
With Thrustmaster and Playseat. They sent us these deals and I had to get a monitor and I hooked it all up in my basement now. So I'm going to actually be able to go out and race against other people. I'm going to race a new Toyota Supra on different tracks against other Toyota drivers, just like you know what I mean, like Kyle Busch. You get what I mean, or like a Christopher Bell, or like Langdon, J.R. Todd. You know what I mean. We'll all race against each other on there also too. A Denny Hamlin, a Martin Truex. So we'll get all these guys and we'll all get together. And we'll get to go and we'll get to bang bars. We're going to set up a race where we all have to race each other. So I got to get good on this iRace stuff and on these simulators because now we have a little competition. And let me tell you something. It's like a lot of stuff is hitting me at the same time. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to show out a little bit.
Well, on that point, okay, so drag racing, we have, in my opinion, and no disrespect to anybody else, but we have the biggest personalities all the way back. You compare the IndyCar personalities of the golden era, the 60s and 70s, guys like AJ, et cetera, and they're big, amazing personalities. But we had Snake and Garlits and Moldana. Drag racing just brings in the craziest, most amazing characters. And those guys you just listed, yourself included, great characters. So now, iRacing, it's time for your character to show, the personality to show. You guys can figure out how to do that stuff. It's a game. You can do it. And like 1.3 million people watched that thing the other day, Antron. That's a big number considering the investment. Like, what was the investment? Well, there was very little investment. Nobody went anywhere. Everybody has their rigs, which is fun. And TV figured out how to show it. Like, is this something that we could get going again? I like it. You need to be practicing.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is that everybody's watching, man, and you want to go out there and disappoint because they're you don't want to disappoint because they're cheering you on, and you still got all your fans in your corner. And I go through all my social channels, and the social channel has spiked because people are looking for that outlet. You get what I mean? Where they're looking to see what you're doing, what you're up to, and the coolest part is that I've been having plenty of time to re-interact with them, like sign digital autographs.
Digital autograph. That's crazy that you guys.
Isn't that crazy?
Who invented that? That's amazing.
It's pretty awesome though, because you're able to connect with the people and the kids, and the coolest part is some of them will send me a video to my Instagram, and then I look on my Instagram where they sent me a video, and I'll send them a video back, say, "What's up?" You know what I mean, or "What's going on?" And then I'll do some just playing around with them, and it's so cool to see their interaction. And I got this one fan, and that's my little friend. No, his name is Liam. He's from California, and this little kid is the cutest kid you ever see. When I see him, I see a lot of myself when I was a little kid, and it's so funny. He doesn't call me just Antron. When you see the little kids, it's so adorable. They go, Antron Brown. How you doing, Antron Brown?
Yes.
Antron Brown. What's going on today, Antron Brown? I'm like, just call me AB. Just call me Antron. But it's so funny. And he wears a shirt and he goes, I want to drive a race car like you one day, Antron Brown. I want to drive a dragster. I said, well, they make junior dragsters. And then his mom looks up at me at the Pomona at the beginning of this year and they start laughing. She goes, we need a sponsor. I said, well, time for me to go.
Exactly. Here you go, Mom and Dad. But I would maintain for the parents out there that it's actually very worthwhile, the expense. It's a couple of $1,000s. You're going to spend some money, but you get to keep your kids so close to you, which is so hard to do in this world. You get to keep your kids very close. Hey, AB, we got a celebrity out there watching right now.
Who's that? Double OG?
Yeah.
Is that Michael O'Gwen?
Michael O'Gwen. Talk about this dude. He's out there. Who knows? He left us though, but for great reasons.
He's got a beautiful family. He's got a beautiful daughter. His wife Marla. I mean, they were Mr. and Mrs. Drag Racing. You get what I mean? And Mike was he started off doing blowers, went to our clutch guy, and a man filled with a million emotions. He just wanted to win, brother. And I remember just like yesterday, he poured his heart and soul into everything that he did. And you're talking about a man cut from the same cloth as me, kept everything neat, meticulous. His vehicles never had a spot of dirt on them. I mean, Mike was just like, boom. It's like he could have been my dad's son. That's how my dad is. That's how my dad raised me. Is like everything's got to be right and tight. No sloppiness, neatness, tuck in, tight, right, boom. And I tell you, from Brian Karate, Mark Oswald to Brad, and Mike, he was definitely part of the crew, man. And shoot, brother, he knows it, man. He knows it, and he lives, eats, and sleeps it. And he's got a mean bracket racing pickup truck, man.
Oh, really? I've seen the pickup. I know he bracket races. No, he's good. I think he's got a WFO sticker on that thing too. Thank you, Mike. That is great.
Man. Well, brother, you're the godfather of drag racing, brother, on the airwaves.
The Podfather.
That's right, brother. You're on the airwaves, man. You're on the airwaves, man. Nobody messes with WF Joe.
I love
WFO Joe, baby.
All right, next question. I get uncomfortable when people talk positively about me. I don't know why. Do you get the same adrenaline rush in a fuel car as you do riding motocross? That's a good question. Jumping up in the air and stuff.
I do. Motocross, that was my outlet. And since I got a little older, I don't get to ride a bike like I used to. I used to have several motocross bikes all the time. And motocross was just like me getting free. You get what I mean? Like when I used to jump and just ride a track, is one of those feelings where your mind just goes into another zone where it makes you it's one of the most purest feelings. And when you start flowing and when you're riding around the track and you're starting to get into a rhythm and you're doing stuff and it's intense at the same time, but it's just like, it's kind of like flowing with poetry is the best way to explain it. You get what I mean? And drag racing, like driving a fuel car, you get into the same realm. You get into that kind of poetry when you get on a race day and you're going rounds and you went the whole day and you won the race. That's like your poetic day in drag racing when you get to that victory lane circle. And motocross, you feel that every time you go out like that. You know what I mean? And when you go up in the air, you kind of fly like a bird.
Yeah.
And you come down and everything's just so fluent and just flowing. And it's one of those deals that takes me away where it takes my mind off of all the constant, just everything that goes on, from doing this to doing that, doing this, remember to get this done, get that done, get that done. It takes all that and just wipes that clear where you could just let that away. You know what I mean?
I reference this all the time. I saw this doc a long time ago, Dirt to Glory, Dust to Glory, Dirt to Glory, about the Baja 1000. And I didn't ever, I'm from Florida. We don't have that. We have airboats. But it compared that style of racing, and motocross, two-wheel stuff is certainly part of it. Desert riding, like going over the land, figuring out the topography, to surfing, like this kind of quasi-spiritual.
Yes.
Where you're part of, and what you just described, like triggered that for me. Like there's some sort of connection to something else that you don't get in a lot of places. That's cool, but you got to get good enough to be able to do that. And that's the hard part, right? Like you got to get a certain skill level to be able to just ride.
Yes. And it's an unscripted dance is what it is. You get what I mean? And that's where the poetry comes in, that the art comes in, the art form, and everything has an art to it. You get what I mean? And you feel that. I feel that in every form of motorsports that I do. Everyone gives you a different sensation. You get what I mean? So for me, it's like when I used to race motocross, that was my release. You get what I mean? Like when I'm riding like my motocross bike, you know what I mean? Is just a release for me. It's just like when everything goes right. Not when you crash or fall, trust me, but when everything is right, you know what I mean? and you start flowing and you start doing stuff effortlessly where it doesn't give you arm pump or doesn't wear you down or break you down. You get into that zone, just like you get into that drag racing zone, racing a fuel car. You'll get into that zone where everything just goes really slow and you can see everything. Like you can see the tree coming on and you just hit it. And then you're driving the car, everything gets easy. And that's when you know that you're in that zone. You're in that zone to be right, you know?
So make the comparison though, because we were just talking about how drag racing is really a challenge because of the game, right? Or because of the shortness, the duration of it, the idea that it's compressed, that you strap in 10 minutes before you run, maybe less, you tell me, but your guys are just pushing you up there and all you have to do is think or not think or choose to not think about what's going to happen in this 2-minute period from burnout to turn off. And all that, like poetry you just described for motocross, it's got to be compressed into this 2-minute from fire up to hop out on the big end, give an interview on the top end moment. And that's got to be really challenging. So how is it different?
Well, for me, it's just like, like when you're talking about going through those moments, is that a lot of people think it's just like you're talking about, like, it's not like where you go, all right, it's a 3.7 second run. You get what I mean, Joe? Where you go, all right, well, boom, it just happened. You get what I mean? Or you just jump in and you drive. Is like your mind goes through so many processes of the job that you got at hand. And what you want to do is that you train, like I train myself to literally get in the car and literally when I put that helmet on, Joe, and when I flick that shield down, all the problems of the world go away. They're gone. You get what I mean? It's like a switch. Click. And when that switch comes on, I don't even know who's around me. I don't even know there's a camera guy or a camera in my face or it's over here. Only thing I can see is where I want to go and where I want to be and how I want to get there. You know what I mean? And like I see the tree and I can just take you through it. Like we'll pull the car to the starting line. We fired up. We did a burnout. I'm backing up. And now I'm trying to line the car up and get it in the groove. I'm trying to make sure I got this thing pointed exactly where I want to, because I don't want to correct it in its first 80 feet or 100 feet. I know once it gets out there and starts getting clutch to it, it's going to start moving, and then you got to start guiding it. But you want to keep this thing as straight as possible for the first 100 feet so you can stay in the groove on track. And once I go get it there, my mind is kind of like when you step on the gas pedal is one of those deals that shock you, and it goes like this. It goes, whoo, and like it hits you, and then you go back into slow motion time. And then your mind is just like not thinking and you're just reacting and doing. And then the car will start pushing you back in your chest and you see the car will start going a little bit to the left. Then your hand just automatically does it. You're not thinking about doing it. It just honestly does it. And then when you feel the clutch kicking again and the car might twist to the other side, then you just counter rotate and you're kind of just like guiding it and you're ahead of it. But all this stuff is happening so fluently and in slow motion where you're just trying to grasp on everything that's happening at that time. And then at the same time, like your peripheral vision, you're trying to see out of it, but you can't. And you're say, well, I don't see nobody ahead of me. I must be in the lead. You don't feel nothing on you. If you don't feel no thunder on you, you're in front. If you feel your car vibrating, you know you're behind, because the other car's thrust is pushing on your car and it feels like your car's shaking apart. And you're like, oh, Lord, I'm behind. And if it starts clearing up, that means you're pulling ahead. So you're going through all this stuff in 3.7 seconds, but you're visualizing, you're seeing it, and you're feeling it. And then the best feeling is once you go through that finish line, as soon as you let off, you're looking right to the guardrail. You know right where the wind light is, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that wind light. And when you see that wind light come on, then your heart and your emotions go, and then you're like, all right. And then you're just like, all right, we got to get this bad boy slowed down. So you're going through all that stuff. You already have the parachutes out. All that stuff's out. Laundry's out. But all that stuff happens, and you're just reacting to it down the whole course of the racetrack. You're just doing it. It's like literally just doing it.
Amazing. I had never heard or don't recall hearing Top Fuel drivers talk about dirty air. And that's kind of a new thing. Like dirty air, we hear about it in all kinds of racing. Dirty air, like you got to deal with it, right? It changes the feeling of your car. And I know the cars move the air. I feel them out there. What's that like accelerating from 200 to 300 to 330 when you're in a tight race? Wow, that's something new. Antron, I'm sure you're super busy. So you got to go clean the inside of your house, organize your closets, work on the gym. I don't know what you're going to do, but you've been so great to us. It's been just about an hour or so you've been on. I did want to ask you, though, you mentioned your dad a little bit earlier. I had a great interaction with your dad last year, and he gave me this thing, and I told you about it right away. I was hanging with Al Brown, and I started talking about him. He's an old school guy, Jersey guy. So those two things already put him in an elite status with me, because that's where my father came from as well. And my dad always told me, like, Jersey's no joke. You got to be tough. You got to be fast. You got to be good. You got to be a hard worker. You got to be good at your job. You can't survive if you're not cutting edge good at your job, whatever your job is. And so I was talking to Al about it, and he gave me this like rap, like he had a whole thing, like the dozens, like, man, Al Brown, the man, and it was great. And I just, we see your dad out there, and we know he's Antron's dad, and we know he's a cool guy, but like elaborate a little bit on the family that created you.
Well, like a lot of people, you always look at your dad when you're growing up, and you're always like, for me, I always looked up to my dad and on how meticulous and what he's always done. And I always wanted to be like him. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up as a kid, he was my hero when I was very young. And I used to see him come home, and, he was in the Army, and he worked on the race cars and my dad. But what I learned really fast is that my dad was very meticulous on everything that he did, and he was very instrumental, especially in racing. Like he was never one to be caught not prepared. And that's what he taught. That's what I've learned from him throughout my whole life, is to always be prepared. And that man had every spare part, every widget, every gadget, every tool it took to get the job done right and efficiently, like correctly. Like he was never out there with a pry bar on something. He never took a hammer to smack it. If a nut had just like a little bit of an edge broke off of it, like, from like using the wrong size wrench or something,
round it off,
he'll replace it. It'll be brand new. You get what I mean? And he goes, he looked at me and goes, your uncle must have been working on this side of the car. That's what he could tell me.
Right.
And he goes, take that off. Take that off. Take that off. Take that off. He'll touch everything up neat. And he goes, if all your stuff is neat and you take care of it, you only have to buy it once. That's what he used to tell me. You buy it once. And he goes, don't never skimp out, son. Never cheap out. He goes, if there's a better part out there, go buy the best part, because you will only have to buy it once. Don't save money and buy something that you have to buy twice, because then you spent over more money. And those are the type of lessons I learned at an early age from my dad, where he said, take your time, do it right. If not, you're going to have to do it again. And that's what he used to make us do, whether we're washing the vehicle, putting the rim on, helping them do a brake job, or tearing something up. You know what I mean? He goes, do it right. And he used to always tell us that. He used to be over our shoulder all the time, probing on us. Not like, like he'll catch our mistake before we made the mistake. You get what I mean? So, yes. But think about it, we learned from that. And at the end of the day, he really cared. Like, before we used to think that he was just being hard and being a butthead. Honestly, that's what we thought, me and my brother, you know what I mean? But we took his good qualities and we instill them into our everyday, you know what I mean? And we try to instill them to our kids today. But we try to do it a different way, because the way we grew up is a lot different than the way our kids grew up now. You get what I mean? So, yes. So things are not as rough or as brutal as it was when I grew up as a kid.
Well, and this is a conversation that everybody's having. Like maybe, and I don't know, I don't have kids, but I got a little nephew, and it's like maybe it should be hard, but it's so hard to be hard. It's hard to be tough on the kids. Back in the day, it wasn't as hard for them to be tough on the kids. Now it's more you don't want to be tough on the kids.
Well, you know, if you ask my kids, they'll all tell you that I'm tough on them. You know what I mean? And I smile and joke all the time, but now they're at a different age where I know they're getting older, where they have to be more responsible. And when they don't show you that they're responsible on some things, you got to crack that whip, because the real world's going to be rough and brutal on them. I mean, everything's not Rice Krispie treats. You get what I mean? Like my daughter, she's got a heart of gold. Okay, Joe? And a lot of people probably never heard this story, but this has happened last summer. And she was out and she was filling her car up at the gas station. And right here in Brownsburg, Indiana, is like country town out here. It's country town, like on the outskirts of Indianapolis. And a guy came over and said that he was a retired police officer, ex-military, and that he's having a hard time. He lost his wallet, and he just needed a little money for some gas money. So my daughter, believing his story, being naive, she wants to help him out. Well, she gives him her debit card.
Oh.
And the guy takes the debit card. He didn't go put gas in his car. He ran in his car and took off with her debit card.
Oh,
and I'm
man.
like, really? I'm like, how much do you think you're going to get from a teenager's debit card? She only had $50 to her name in her checking account anyway.
Bad
You know what I mean? So the crazy part of it is it flipped her out. She freaked out. She didn't know what to do. I said, baby, listen to me. Dad, I don't mind you helping people, okay? If the guy was that hard up, you could have went over and you could have controlled it. You could have put $10 in his car. You get what I mean? But your brother was with you, so lucky you weren't by yourself. But next time, you just got to literally say, now you learned your lesson from it, but you got to learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is not a good Samaritan. And that's a shame, because now it just messed it up. It just messed up her trust on anybody, of trusting anybody. And those are lessons we got to teach our kids. And that's what I learned from my dad, was that you gauge them. You can help them at your own will, but you got to control the situation. And that's something that we got to teach all of our young kids today, to control the situations that they're in. And if they want to help, you could be gracious, but help. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And not be naive to the situation. And it's sad that you can't be like that, but the real world, like we said, you know, is not, you can't, like, you know, some people take advantage of it. You know?
Absolutely. No, well, hey, that's a scary story, but now a good, inexpensive lesson, right? She's going to be affected for the rest of her life, and hopefully we'll never make that mistake again, and we'll always control it. All right, I want to be able to let you get on out of here, Antron, because I got a couple questions from people, so we're going to do rapid fire. Okay. Obviously, we got this Corona-19. It's changed everything, but hopefully it hasn't changed some things. Any update on Antron owning his own team? That part of the program, is that still happening? You know, the transition.
Yeah, that's my goal, man. That's my end goal. And the thing about it is that I'm going to still move forward, but first we just need to get through this situation here first before I can even get focused on it. Right now, my focus is just helping our team that we have now with DSR get through this. You get what I mean? Where we can still, you know, race for the rest of this year and race strong. And that's my main focus now. But yeah, that's definitely still up on the board, and that's what I'm working towards.
Okay, next one. This one coming from a well-known personality, Courtney Enders. Would you ever trade rides with a pro stock driver? I know you would be so good. So I think
absolutely. You know what a lot of people don't know is that pro stock car, when I grew up as a kid, that was like one of my favorite categories. Like my dad and uncle, that's all they watched was pro stock cars.
Because they're sportsman racers, of course.
Like, you know what I mean? Pro stock car was the cream of the creme, the cream of the crop. And we used to watch all the stuff back in the day with Bob Glidden. Like Bob Glidden was like the man. And when it came down and then our biggest hero was like the Grump, like, you know, Grumpy Jenkins.
Yeah.
Like my dad used to read all of his books that he put out, like the book, The Blueprint. And my dad built a 355 small block Chevy that we ran in our Vega back in the day. Like back in the day, the day my dad ran high nines with the Vega, not at pro stock car weight limit. You know what I mean? The car was light as possible, of course, you know what I mean? But that was pretty spectacular to run high nines back in 1976.
Yeah. Have a single digit number.
That was serious with no nitrous, all motor. They ran like 980s
and
in that Vega back then.
And that Vega couldn't have been that.
Absolutely,
like
Eric. I would love to do a drive swap, especially with Erica. That's my sister right there. And I love Pro Stock Car, and I watch it all the time. Still, I watch it all the time. I'm a huge fan of Pro Stock Car.
All right. Well, what if drive swap is challenging because we let's just face it, it's less expensive to put a Pro Stock car on the track for a couple of test shots than it is a nitro car. Less people, not disrespecting Pro Stock anyway, it's just a different animal. But you'd be down to hop in a Pro Stock car and try to give it a whirl. That's the point.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I would love to do that. I think it'll be awesome, man. That was definitely on my bucket list: a Pro Stock car and a Pro My car.
Oh, there you go.
Sure. And a funny car. Woo.
Well, that was easy.
Brother, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
A TV show.
I'm ready.
So here was my idea that, okay, you guys are very close to Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis. Okay, this is a tough deal and it's going to get tougher. And why don't we go there and just bring some cars and run like 5 races in a row and just televise it from one place, one stadium, and no fans, just for TV. And you guys go race and set some basic rules from one place. Right?
I think we could do that, man. I think it'll be good. You know what I mean?
Right. Send the TV crew. You guys got to stay. You pit very far from each other. And
my whole idea with this is the thing about it is you got to keep people from getting together. So
right.
You have to. The thing about it is you would have to have all the crew guys get tested and stuff like that. And
yes.
And if you get all that stuff done, we can all go race. That'd be cool to race and then make like a pay-per-view for people to watch or something like that.
Like everybody gets certified. You're going to work in the industry and pass the test.
Then you can keep the tracks running, keep the tracks alive. The money will go for the racetracks and stuff like that. And then maybe we can, I don't know, man, that'll be a good thing to think about and talk about and make happen. I think it'll be awesome.
Well, hopefully.
I would love to do it. I mean, Lucas Oil's right up the street right here.
Well, exactly. June 5th. Through 7th, Gator Nationals. That's next on our radar. I'm hoping that works out, but I'm allowing myself to be a little creative. All right. Final question for Antron. Listen, we got 350 wins for the Dawn coming up. You got all these different things, but those are drag racing themed questions. I'm staring at your Matco Tools logo, and recently the Garlett's Hall of Fame thing, Lee Beard was up there and kind of talked about some of the transition with David Powers and all. I'm thinking about like when Antron came on the scene, and you're one of these rare people who have had one strong relationship with one like sponsor for the whole time. You must have the most amazing tool collection, Antron. You must have the most amazing collection of tools on the planet. What is the most oddball, unusual tool that you have for a very specific circumstance in your tool box?
Man, believe it or not, I got so many of them, though. Joe, that's a hard question.
I do ask tough questions, Antron. That's why I'm here.
But one thing that I would say that for certain circumstances is when I strip something, like when a bolt is so tight that it doesn't want to come out, right?
Yes.
I actually have a hammer. Oh man, I guess what my go-to is, honestly.
Because that one that's
my impact driver. So my impact driver, you just put it on there, you can hit with a hammer, boom, and it'll actually jar it loose.
Yes.
But that's a cool tool. But I guess the things that I go to all is Matco's Infineon line, all their new lithium ion drills and impact guns. Brother, I don't use nothing like a ratchet no more. Everything is with my lithium ion gun. Even I got a screwdriver, a screw bit gun.
Sure.
Then I have my little 1/4 inch drive impact. that's a 12-volt deal. That thing works on everything. I take my whole junior dragster all apart and together with that thing.
Oh, really?
Like a zip. Oh yeah, that thing works like a champ because it has a lot of, you know what I mean? But all my Infineon stuff, all my Infineon drivers, impact drills, screw guns, I love them, man. I love them. And I mean, even up to the big ones where I could even take my wheels off with it, where I don't even need air. I don't even need air no more, brother. Everything is all battery powered, juiced up now. Even I got a Dynafile, which is like a big sand belt. Like, you know what I mean? And it's usually I have an air one, but this one here is actually electric that I use that Mako has. I mean,
what, to grind something down?
It's just ridiculous, brother. I love it. Plenty of power.
Wow.
They last forever, and the torque on them are just insane. And I love them. I mean, if I didn't have that, brother, I don't know. I mean, I'll be back like this.
Well, exactly.
I still use all my wrenches and stuff like that because certain places you can't use the Infineon guns and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? It gives me a lot less. Like you see all my cut and scars on my hands.
Yes, I see
all on my knuckles and everything.
Busted.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's a mechanic at work, brother.
That is
all
crazy.
Day.
Antron, thank you very much for spending time with us. We taught you to be a Microsoft tech. You got it going. I had confidence that you would. We stayed live. We fought through it, and you did a great job. Thank you so much for sharing some time with us. And this is the first, what I would call official WFO Radio live that we have done. And you are the first big guest, and I really appreciate it. Not just this, though. Throughout the experiment that has been WFO Radio podcast, before podcasting was a thing and it was cool, people didn't know what it was, and the only people doing it were kids in their garage. You supported us, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm looking so forward to being back out there with you guys one way or another. Let's light the candles.
I'm ready to go, baby. I'm ready to go.
All right, AB, thank you very much. We're going to continue rolling. Thank you so much. Hey, you got anything? Obviously, you put your Twitter handle up there. Anything you want anybody to do? Anything you need them to go to sign up for, to go see, to check out? Hit them.
Hey, all day long, man. I just want to let all of our WFO fans out there and A-Trade fans, hey, just stay tuned. Keep looking me up on Facebook, Instagram. There's going to be some stuff coming out here soon. That it's going to be some live videos coming out here, just with me hanging out with the fam, doing some stuff. But it'll be good stuff. It'll be really good stuff. So just stay tuned. And I'm just looking forward to getting back out racing, and everybody just stay safe out there. Please stay safe.
Yes, take it serious. All right, Antron, I'm going to bust you out of the stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, my friend. Great job, great work. Carry on with your day. Stay safe. Say hi to the fam, and excellent work. I appreciate you.
Anytime, Joe. Thanks, brother. Y'all take care.
Later, AB. There he goes. Antron Brown with us on WFO Live. How about that? And in spite of a couple of moments of just a little bit of struggle in the beginning, we good now. We got it. And there it is. All right, let me catch up on some of these quotes. Okay, so now what's next? This is it. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going for a few more minutes. We got, let's see, Jeff Verdi out there. Oh, Jeff, you missed out. We talked about the whole pros versus Joe's deal. Now, I don't want you to reveal who won, but Antron said, everybody said they were nervous. And you being a 2-time in the same year $1 million winner, one of the greatest bracket racers in the history of bracket racing based on that stat, he said it was really cool. Oh, look, my dad's out there. What's up, Papa Joe? There he is. That's my dad, guys. You see his little deal. And Antron talking about his dad. I might as well talk about my dad since he just posted something. But all of the stuff the same. Like when I see Al Brown, I think about my dad because Jersey guys, military guys. Right, same age. That's it. End of story. So great stuff. Jeff says he was very nervous. Bobby Graham says, what's he say? Sweet job, guys. Wouldn't change a thing. Well, you know what? I wouldn't change a thing either because watching and listening to Antron struggle while I did a tap dance on the air here, plus my great Tribe Called Quest 10 seconds, that's going to make drag racing history. Let's see. Courtney Enders. Yes. Is that yes or yas? Let's make it happen. I know a few folks. That's on you, Courtney. Make it happen, Courtney. You have the power. You have the power. All right, I want to do something. Speaking of Courtney Enders, who is connected to Wes Buck, who is connected to the World Door Slammer Nationals that I went to and got to announce, and we had a couple of great things. I've got a video that was created by Steve Brenwald from Brenwald Media, who has been helping me out with WFO. And the thing about WFO is it's a bit of a collective in that people who listen know that me and Giovanni in Miami and a couple others, Patrick the webmaster, have worked tirelessly for 10 years to put this thing together. And we do not have a huge budget, which is why we need great sponsors like the people that I have been mentioning to you guys over the past couple of years. People like Total Seal Piston Rings and Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. By the way, Total Seal got a special going on called Racers Relief. For you home engine builders, you can actually get a hold of them and get Total Seal piston rings. Get on the web and check them out. Plus Magic Dry, Rodax Coffee and Grills.com, which I've been drinking right now, and Sam Tech, the next generation of machinist, of course. But anyway, Steve Brenwald has been doing our art, and Steve Brenwald went out to the World Door Slammer Nationals, and he did a video. And so I am going to play the video right now as best as I can, given the circumstances, and we'll see what it is. But here's the thing that I think is interesting, okay? Drag racing photographers, some of the most underappreciated, talented people in all of talented people. And Mark Rabilis and Richard Shute and Gary Nastasi and everybody, these guys, they get not enough cred because what they're doing is impossible. And Steve's a photographer. He's a good photographer, but keeping up with drag race cars, especially while they're doing burnouts, is a bit of a challenge. And so let's see if I can figure out I had Antron, crashes and everything. I'm not going to show Antron crashes. That's crazy. Let me get Courtney off of here. No offense, Courtney, and get back over here. And let's watch this video that Steve put together and see how close and crazy it was at the World Door Slammer Nationals at Ozzy Moya's Orlando Speed World. Let's see what happens. And there you have it. Not easy. Keep it out in front of these race cars as they're accelerating as quick and as fast as is possible. So good job, Steve. I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh, I got to get rid of it, though. What do I have? I have a big, I'm still learning how to fly the plane here, folks. Let's see. Bobby Graham, photogs get credit from me. My photos stink. Yeah, mine too. Isn't it the worst when you see somebody take a photo of something and then you take a photo of something and you did everything that they did except their photo is great and your photo is horrible? That's welcome to my world. That's what it is. Like, oh, that's a great shot. Let me take that shot, which is kind of a version of plagiarism, right? You see someone take a shot and they're like, I'm going to take that shot too. Right there. That's a little wrong. But then again, at a drag race, it's part of the deal. Let's see. Dave Stoltz says, great questions. Okay. All right. Any final thoughts? Anybody out there? WFO Radio listeners got anything else? Here's what I will talk about as we bring it home. Obviously, WFO Radio is a podcast. That's our core thing. We've got the Ignition Show. We've got an HRA podcast. We've got Alan Reinhart. Alan Reinhart talking about what it takes to build a stock eliminator car, I think is really interesting. And I'm not going to tell you what he said. But we had Rob Flynn last week. We had Bobby Bennett. That was a very difficult, challenging Bobby's he's a friend. He's a media member. He's a colleague. He got very sick and almost checked out, but he's on the comeback trail. And I texted him, hey, when you're ready. He called me Friday morning. We put that interview up, but we also did some things with Dr. Philip Surface, NHRA's doctor. Kyle Seipel talked about pros versus Joes. Jason Logan has been coming on the past couple of weeks. And obviously that's like lighter side stuff. Like you want to laugh. Go back and listen to Jason Logan's experiment with delivering Uber Eats. Don't do that anymore, Jason, though. Stay in your house. Hide under your bed. That's what everybody should do, is get in their house and hide under the bed. Maybe not that. But there you go. I think that the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown schedule is really nice, and I like it. And since we're promoting things, I want to remind you guys that, we do have other podcasts. Factory Stock Podcast. Started last year. Samtech.edu supports it. And it treats the stars of Samtech Factory Stock Showdown like they're the only category on the planet. That the 7-second, 3,500-pound supercharged door slammers, factory cars with power windows, the personalities, whether it be Drew Skillman or Mark Powick or Archie Cohn or others, David Barton, Leah, they all are on Factory Stock Podcast. And I also think that the fact that the spotlight isn't so bright means that they really attack each other. Like there's the brutal smack talk that we all love and come to expect. So you podcast listeners out there, Factory Stock Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and my personal favorite, first of all, let's rank them. Spotify is better than Apple Podcasts in terms of functionality, shareability. It works faster and it only makes sense. It's quicker. It's newer, right? But I love SoundCloud. SoundCloud is, I like it. You download the SoundCloud app, you can find all these things there. Also, Hidden Horsepower, presented by Total Seal Piston Rings. TotalSeal.com, the leader in ring seal technology. Total Seal, first of all, Matt Hartford's idea. And Keith Jones, who is the director of technical sales of Total Seal. This is for engine builders, guys. Like, and not just engine builders, but if you're interested, like we know there's all these different websites and shows and articles for people like me who are interested, like Antron's dad, who are interested in the finer points of engine building. What does it take? Who's doing what? How are they doing it? Why are they doing it? When did they figure that out? What was a mistake they made along the way? What's important? What's less important? Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal. The guests have been across, Stevie Fast, Jason Line, Pat Musey. But now, those were like the big names to get you into it. Now, Keith Dorton, who is in the NASCAR world, like an original pioneer, OG. Ralph Earnhardt was his first paying customer. That's all you need to know. Lake Speed Jr. has taken over as co-hosting. Matt Hartford has been on co-hosting. It's really interesting stuff. Just, I'm barely there. Like, hey, engine building celebrity, talk about this. And they just go. And I learn. And you're welcome to learn as well. Hidden Horsepower, Total Seal, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Hopefully you will write a review. And it will be a good review. There's bad reviews. There's no help in that. And of course, then there's WFO Radio, which you can get at all these different places. Stitcher is one that people, some people like Stitcher. I don't get it. No offense, Stitcher. I just don't get it. People, it comes late, frankly. It comes late. Like everybody else gets it first. And then WFOradio.com. That is the one. WFOradio.com. And that's it. I'm just about done. I want to say thank you to all you folks out there for joining us here. Who's the next guest? Jeremy wants to know that. Courtney Enders would be a good one. Yeah, Courtney Enders would be a great guest. I would love to have Courtney Enders. Courtney Enders has been requested so many times by my listeners. And there are some things that have happened that actually we were going to do a big month of March program, and just things have happened. But Courtney, are you down for being on the show? Are you down? Not right now, like next time, right? If you're down, we would love to have you. And we have several of our guests. Not being in the truck every day has thrown off my listening time, says Ricky, etc., and so on. And so now it is time. Like, how will we conclude this show? We will conclude this show the same way we conclude every WFO radio show, which is with a little WFO music from our friend Clearside, who put this together and is an artist unto himself. Another one of those WFO helpers out there who have been so kind to us over the years. Clearside, my man, been with us since the XM Satellite Radio days. And big thanks to Antron Brown. Thank you for fighting, all you listeners out there. Thank you for fighting through what was a couple of minutes of, maybe it was the best content we have created on here. Who knows? And a quick reminder, we got some great stuff in the archive. We've got great guests on a regular basis. And we're going to be doing more this week. And if you like this, you can always email me, joe@wforadio.com. And we'll do more. Who do you want to hear on here? Oh, and one more thing. Patreons. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. If you want to support the show directly, those people doing great things for WFO. It's been really amazing to see the people who step up and they want to be a part of the show. All right, everybody, that is going to do it. My name is Joe Castello. You can follow me at WFO Joe, at WFO Radio, at Facebook Live, all that stuff coming at you, and we certainly appreciate you. We'll be doing an Ignition show with Giovanni in Miami. We haven't forgotten you guys, and we'll be back to it. But so thankful to have all you folks out there, and let me pop into your life a little bit. And this is the first one, and we'll see how it goes, and if we get rave reviews and people like it, maybe we'll do another one. And if Courtney wants to be on, well, of course, we will do it. And this is open to all drag racers and personalities and people of interest. We are WFO, to say the least. All right, everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next time here on WFO Radio.